Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello to all of you. Welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am just thrilled to see all of you on here with me. Hello. I see all the comments coming in. Thank you so much for saying hi. Let me know what's happening in your neck of the woods. What are you seeing outside your window? We have got a sunny day ahead, so it's a good day. When the sun's shining, it's definitely a good day. So let me see. Linda, hello to you. Debbie Hedges, yep, sunny in Salem. Brenda, hello. She says, happy to be here. Looking forward to Bonnie's class. You guys, me too. Looking forward to showing this to you. Such a fun little project. And we're getting close to Easter, so it's gotta be fun and it's gotta be easy and quick. So this one is both of those things. Let's see, who else is on? Let's see, Debbie, Brenda, Diane Mason. Hello, Diane. Suska, hello to you. Tony, hello. Simone, good to have you on. Welcome. Linda, hello to you. Sandy from Brookings, hello. Welcome. Patricia, she says, so happy to be here. Wouldn't miss it. Love today's project. It's a really fun one, you guys. I hope you like it as much as I do. We're gonna hand draw something. So that's always fun for me, and it can be a little bit stressful to hand draw something, but you know what? Once you start doing that, the fear sort of goes away and you're not paralyzed. So we're gonna make some little bunny ears. I'm gonna show you how to do it. And then we're gonna make this really cute little project. So but first, I gotta finish saying hi to everyone here. So let's see. Terry is on. Hello, Terry. Barbara, hello. She says, good morning, AI friends. Nice and sunny in San Jose today. Cooler than last week when the Bay Area was under a heat advisory. Wow. Summer is coming. Yay. Jane, hello to you. Good morning, Jane. Linda from Wisconsin. Julie from Oregon. Hello. She says, what a great way to start. Well, Wednesday, I agree, 1,000%. It's a good day when I can get on here with you guys. Carrie Lynn in Canada, hello. Consuelo, she says she is here from Carson City, Nevada. Michelle Hoskins is in the house. Michelle, all of your fans are just thrilled to see you on here. We can all personally tell you how amazingly talented you are. Who on here loves it when Michelle posts something on the AI Way or on the Art Impression Stamp group? She is just in a class of her own. So it's always fun when Michelle is here. Michelle's from Australia, so who knows what time it really is there. So when she's on, it's always fun. She says, missing, you have to head to bed soon. Got to work tomorrow. So, yep, it's late there. Just wanted to say hello. Thanks for stopping by. It's always fun to have Michelle on. Let's see, Cindy from Kansas. Hello to you. Mary Ann, hello. Good to have you on. Countdown is on and looking forward to the retreat in June. Yes, you guys. I'm not sure about, we might have a spot maybe left if you're interested in that. It's the Bible journaling retreat. Information on our website, and we are going to have the best time. It's our second annual one. It's going to be doing watercolor, we're going to be doing Bible journaling, and then we're going to be doing lots of talking and eating. So it's just going to be such a fun time. And Marianne is coming from Canada, so we are thrilled about that. Let's see, Vicki Gross. Hello, Vicki. Good to see you. Good to see you on here. Good to see your comment on here. Sandy and Brookings. Sunny and Brookings. Okay. Yep, it is sunny out my window. It is absolutely just going to be a beautiful day. Sunny in New York. Okay, Deborah. Ginger, she says, love the bunnies. Me too. Just, bunnies are just so much fun. And we're going to create one today. So the thing about these bunny ears is they can go on any little character that you have. So we can transform anything into a little bunny. And it's so cute because obviously they're just bunny ears. But it's kind of fun to do. If you've never done it, it's really kind of fun. Okay, let's see. Who else am I missing? Ginger, hello. Yes, Patricia, Sunny, and absolutely perfect. Love it. Hello to you, Linda and Lorraine. Welcome. Finally catching another live. So happy. Yes, thank you so much, Lorraine. My sister shares your name. I shared that on Bible journaling yesterday. My sister Lorraine passed away this last week, and she is now with Jesus. You know, she's had a lot of suffering in her life, and that is all gone now. So we are sad at her passing, but we are just so happy for where she is right now. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Tony, hello to you. Sandy, hello. Ruth Ann, hello, Ruth Ann. Good to have you on. Cherie, hello. Okay, Cherie is moving to, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's Michigan. And she's saying enjoying her last few days in Oregon with us. So we're going to miss her. She's moving across the country, but she has lots of family there. So we're very happy for her. Cherie, you still have to be on live with us. Yes, Barbara, she is amazing. Veronica, oh, cold and gray Belgium. Oh, man. Our hearts go out to you for cold and gray Belgium. 1 a.m., Michelle says. It's 1 a.m. Oh, my gosh. I would have been asleep for about 10 hours. Wow. Okay, so many tributes to Michelle. Yes. She's amazing. And by the way, you guys, if you have not joined the Art Impressions Way or the Art Impressions Stamp group on Facebook, these are private groups, but they are Art Impressions sort of fan groups, and they post a lot of projects, and you guys will be inspired. If you haven't joined one of those or both of them, highly recommend that you do that. And maybe if Kathy is on here or Ruth Ann is on here, they can post a link to that. But we're on there all the time. I'm always on there stalking those pages to see what everybody is posting and what sort of art they're doing. And I just get so much inspiration. Such a encouraging, for all of you that are on that group, such an encouraging group. Never hear a complaint, never hear a derogatory comment about anyone's work. Just so much encouragement. Very unusual group. Very unique. So it's just fun to get on there. Okay, let's see. Who else am I? I'm a Michelle follower. Yep, Ruth Ann. Me too. Me too. I'm in the Michelle Hoskins fan club for sure. And if you do get on that group, if you haven't done that, you'll have to check out her. She just posted some new things on there. You'll have to check those out. They are so cute, Easter things, just so cute. And I'm always saying things about. I'm always talking about getting, thinking outside the box, using things that you have in a different way. And Michelle is a master at that. She will take a little something from about, a dozen stamps and just create the cutest, most unique things. So that's why it's so fun to watch her. And I know she inspires a lot of people. And a lot of you probably have been inspired by her and create things because of her inspiration. And she's just so great about that. Okay, let's see. Who else? Hello from Wisconsin. Partly cloudy and cool temperatures. Let's see. Joy, hello from California. Veronica, thank you so much. Thank you very much for that. My sister was, she's saying, sorry for your loss. My sister turned 70 last month, but she had most of her life was just spent suffering, and so we're very happy that has come to an end now. So thank you for that. Let's see. Debbie Hedges. She says, I see your background has reverted to spring. It's starting. Okay, so you know what? There's a few things that have changed. I mean, I took the snowflake down, you guys. I had to take some of these snowy things down, and I put a few spring things up, and so more to come. But thank you for noticing that, Debbie. Let's see. Nima, hello from South Florida. Julie says, sad to say I missed the work days during COVID when I could join along. Yes, she's celebrating with Jesus. Yes, she is. Thank you for that. Teresa, hello to you. The group feels like a family. Yes, Terry, she's talking about the Art Impressions the Art Impressions away on Facebook. These are Facebook pages, by the way, if I didn't clarify that. It does feel like a family. It feels like a community, it really does. And everybody has sort of gotten to be friends. And even if you're not commenting on there, you're enjoying the content and what people are creating. And sometimes it just takes a little bit to get your courage up. And I see a lot of first time, posts on there, which is, so fun because you're getting your confidence to do that. And then everyone chimes in and is just so supportive. It's just such a great, it's just such a great page. Credit to Ruth Ann and Kathy for being the admins on that page. Just, it's this is because of them, and the atmosphere that they created on that page. Thank you so much, Patricia, for that comment. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see. Hello from Pasadena, Laura. I just lose my place so fast, you guys. Cindy, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. Sandy says, I love Easter, but I haven't been able to paint much. Getting her house ready to sell, so been a little busy. Wow, that is a job to do that, and especially if you've lived there a long time. It's just amazing how much stuff we collect, you guys. I'm trying to, when I bring something in, I try to take something out, and that's not going well right now. Oh my goodness. Cheryl, hello to you. She's from Kirkland and made a live today. We're so happy to have you on. Roberta is on. Roberta, how are you? So good to hear from you. Probably warm and beautiful in Florida, where Roberta is from. So all my friends, thank you so much for being on with me. Thank you so much for your comments, especially regarding my sister. I appreciate it so much. It means a lot to me. And I just, I appreciate all of you so much. This is what feels like community to us. And I think we've talked about that so many times. Every time Kendra's on, every time I'm on, or Kim's on, Phil and Joel, agree and share the same sentiment that our people are just the absolute best, the most encouraging and kind and thoughtful. And it's just our community. It's our people. So thank you. Okay, Kathy just shared a link to that Facebook page. So there are two. There's the Art Impressions Way, which Kathy and Ruth Ann are facilitators of. And then there's another one called the Art Impressions Stamp Group. And so that is also a different one on there. So check those out for sure. Thank you so much, Patricia, you guys. Happy to paint with you. Me too, Barbara. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's paint. You guys, we're going to create this little project and we're going to use some different stamps from different sets, but not very many. We don't need very many to do it. So let me just switch over to this. And I also want to show you, before we get to the project, I want to show you a new release that just came out yesterday. So this is part of our Bible journaling line. However, it is great for any journaling. These stamps are made to fit in a margin, and that can be in any margin that you have. So let me just move everything aside here. Let me show that to you really quickly, and then we will get on to our project. Okay, so I have some samples here that I just grabbed to show you from our talented design team. But this is what is new right here. These were released yesterday. And so there's a sample. I did a tutorial on how to do these stamps and what these little dies look like. So check that out. It's on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So check that out from yesterday. And then I'll just show you what these sets are. So there's a new die set. This has two different dies. Again, these are margins. So they're longer and narrower, and they fit perfectly. It's why they're in our Bible journaling line, because they have things like grace, faith, love, hope that are also included. These are dies. These are all dies that are in here. And they fit perfectly in a Bible margin or a journal margin. So keep that in mind. And then our design team has also done just some absolutely beautiful things with it. So there are two new stamp sets, and these are what they are. This is the Peony margin set and the Poppy margin set, and they're mirrors. So one is, the right side, one is the left side, and they go together on a page. So you can do a right page and you can do a left page, in a Bible or again in a journal. And they come with these frames, and you can see the size of them. This is the actual size, and actually, let me just tell you, they're probably close to, I would guess, 6 inches, just right about 6 inches long, and probably let's see, an inch and a half wide. So yeah, so just they're just perfect for a margin. So this is the one that we did yesterday, the poppies, and let me just show you that sample. So this is the sample. This is what it looks like when it is watercolored, and see how pretty that is to just go into a on a Bible page or in a journal, just in any, and actually in any book. There are people who watercolor in hymn books, they watercolor in dictionaries, special books, and of course journals. They watercolor in journals. So this is, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, this is watercolor paper with a peel and stick back. So that's why it works in a journal or in a Bible. So you just peel this off and you just, adhere it to your page, and it fits right into the margin. So that's what I had in mind when I created these items right here. But also they're so cute for cards. Look at this one. This is the peonies. I think this is Diane Mason, I believe. Diane, if you're on, I should not have taken that tag off, but I believe, oh, it's Diane Mason. Yep, I see it down here. Isn't this just beautiful? This is so pretty. She just did a fabulous job on this. And it's just beautiful. She made a bookmark with it, and I just love that. And then here's another project we did yesterday. So here's the other die cut out with the little cutout heart. We made this. We used gold paint, and it just was such a simple little project. So again, check these out. These are from yesterday. Yesterday morning. The first and third Tuesday of the month is Bible journaling, and it's alive. And so there's lots of instruction on there. Even if you don't journal in a Bible, there's a lot of watercolor instruction in that live. So look how cute these cards are. These are Simone's, and they're absolutely just beautiful. Look at how she's done this. So she's cut this out and put it onto a card like this, and then here's her little border. Isn't that just so beautiful? And here's the text. Here's the word, the little die that comes with it, and then she's cut out the heart and put that right into the opening. Here's another one of hers. Look how beautiful that is. Just so soft and elegant. I just love this so much. And this is Diane. And I love this idea. Look how cute this is. To just put this on the inside. Tuck a little note in there or something special. And just love this yellow. So cute. Anyway, so there are so many other ways to use it, for cards, bookmarks, and other ways to use it. And keep in mind, you can use part also. So even if you have a small area on a page, something like that, you can use part. You can also use it without the frame. So, which is exactly what Simone did on here. So anyway, these are available now on our website. They were just released yesterday, so check out that tutorial. The ornate margin dies, the peony margin set, and the poppy margin set. All three of these available on our website right now. Okay, so let's get to our project, you guys. And we're gonna make this cute little bunny, this little bunny duck, and we are going to make these little bunny ears. And I just made them 3D because I just think they're so cute, just kind of folded over. And you can make this on any little character. So let me tell you where all of these things come from. So we're only using things from four different sets. And again, you can change this up however you want to. So here is the set that little duck comes from. And you know what? There is a bunny in the set. So you could also put this little bunny right here in this composition. But I thought it would be really cute to use the duck. And I really wanted to put them on the frog. I really, really wanted to put those bunny ears on the frog, but I've done a tutorial of the frog. And so I just opted for this little duck, and I just think she's so cute. So she also comes with flowers. So we're gonna use different ones in here, but you have these flowers. So I wanted to pull in a different one just to give you an idea of another way. So these are very simple to do. You're gonna do them the exact same way as these. And we're gonna be using this and this little pot right here. Just these two things from this set. But you can also cut out extra things like the little birdhouse. These all come with dies. So stamps and dies are included, and there are actually 4 sets of these. So these two came out most recently, and then these 2 came out in the fall for Christmas and of course harvest. So they all have 3 little characters, and then they all have dies that cut them out. So they're kind of, made the same. These little containers are all interchangeable, as are all the little characters. So you can just switch up, things however you want. Maybe you want this little fall scene into this basket instead of the bucket. You can just switch these out and kind of mix and match. So this was one of the newest ones that we just released. I just love this idea of being able to cut these out and bring them forward and creating these little vignettes of groupings. So we're going to take this bucket and this little duck from this set. And then we're also going to use a couple of things from this set. So I took this is one single stamp right here in this set. I just took the tulips from it. I just took the tulips and I just stamped those in this container, and I'll show you. We're going to go through this whole thing. I'm going to show you exactly how to stamp it and what I used. And then I love this stack of eggs. I love this stack of eggs because it's so versatile, and you can turn them this way also. You could stamp them and just put them right here, and they're just so cute. This also has a die. So if you wanted to add these eggs here, and I put them in the pot. So I used this little section right here, 3, 4, 5, 6 eggs. So just 2 here. Just this little section. I just inked those. And actually, I could have just inked this whole thing, and just included this pot instead of this one. So you could do that too. But you could take these, this little section, cut this whole thing out, and then just use your scissors and just cut these apart right here. And you could just put those little eggs right here and just pop them up right next to that little duck. And I think that would just be so cute. All of these little things come with dies except for the sentiments, but everything else does. So here's a single little egg. You could also put that with this. These little chicks, all of these things come with dies. So we're gonna use some of these little eggs, just these right here, and put them in the pot. And then we're gonna use just this section of this, just the tulips. They're just the right size, and they look kind of whimsical, and they just kind of fit with this little, compilation. And then we're going to use these little whimsical flowers. So we're going to use these little bluebells. Just this one that's kind of hanging to, you can see it here. It's just kind of hanging to the right. And they just kind of go with these whimsical tulips. And I just think they're so cute. You could use any of these in here. Honestly, you could just use, if you don't have this set, that Easter set that has the tulips, you could just put these flowers into the pot. That would be really cute if you have this one. Okay, and then we just needed a little greenery, so we need the grass here and we need the vine, just to add a little bit more greenery into the little pots. Okay, and that's it. That's all we're gonna need. And then we've got our markers and everything. So let me just show you how I stamp these things. So you can see this one. I just cut this little duck out just because I wanted to complete the whole thing, and I didn't want to have to cut it, on live. So I just cut it out, and it's so easy. There's literally nothing to color on it. It's little, feet and his beak, and the rest of it is just going to stay white. But you could color this, yellow. You can color it whatever color that you want to color it. And she'll be so cute. And look at how close these dies cut. I just love this, you guys. I don't know if you've really noticed that, but our dies cut so close. This is Joel who does it. And he lines these things up, and it's so nice not to have a big, wide border on here. And I just think that it really makes a difference when you're assembling these little projects. To have these dies that cut so close. So we're gonna just put her right here next to these little pots. When we're finished, and this is going to be just so cute. All right, so here's what I did when I stamped these. So number one, I stamped the pot, and let me just show you something on here. So when you're stamping these things, these containers, and this isn't really showing here, but this pot is this size. So this is the size right here. However, you can make the pot taller or you can make the pot shorter. And what I did was I dropped it down a little bit and I left the bottom off of the pot. And now I have two sizes. And it really kind of mixes it up a little bit rather than having two pots that are the exact same size sitting next to each other. It adds a little bit more interest to your finished project if you don't have things that are too symmetrical. So make one just a little bit smaller or make one a little taller. You can do that too. So kind of keep those things in mind. It's super easy to just add the bottom to it. You know, just take your pencil and just add the bottom and you're good to go. So, you know, keep that in mind with these containers because you're not locked into this size. You can make it even shorter. You could also take this line off here and make it even shorter and just make a little, a very short little pot or a very tall one. You could do that too. So just keep that in mind. So I dropped that down and I made this just a little bit shorter just to give a little, you know, better, little more artistic look on here. And then I put in the eggs. So here are those 5 eggs. That was just, you know, part of that image. And basically what you do is you just put it into your stamp platform and you just ink this part of the stamp. That's all. Just ink this part and stamp it into the container. And then if you want to be super careful, just run a piece of Post-it tape across the bottom, and then you don't have to worry about stamping over the top of the lines. Okay. And with the eggs, I just used a very light neutral color. It doesn't have to be this one. This is N79. There are other grays or neutrals that you can use, but these are going to have a lot of color. And so you want to stamp this in a very light color. Now, we do have an ink pad like this, but we're not using the whole stamp. So you can't really use an ink pad if you're just going to ink a select part of the stamp. So just one little section. Unless you sort of figure out how to tape the stamp off. But do you understand what I'm saying about that? If you're just going to ink a small section of the stamp, you need to use a marker so that you can just ink that section and then stamp it into your container. Okay, so we've got the eggs in here, and then here are those tulips. And again, same thing. I just inked this part of the stamp and just laid it onto my canvas, stamped my pots first, laid that stamp onto my canvas, and I could see exactly where it was going to go because it's clear. It's clear. So I can lay that on here and I can see I want that to be right here. And then I want to add those little whimsical flowers. So we'll do that. We'll do that on the live. But I pre-stamp these things just for time so that it doesn't take so long to stamp everything in here. And you can see multiple colors. So I stamped it in the orange so that we can have a yellow one, and then the pink. And usually when I'm actually using this pink for these little tulips. So this is the 703. This is a lighter pink, but I inked it in the darker pink. So the 725. It's always I feel like a better result to ink it in the darker color than the light. It's really hard to see those lines if the pen is too light. So use this to ink the tulips, and then I use the orange. So this is the 933 orange to ink the yellow one that's back here in the background. And then we'll be adding yellow to that, which is the 993. Okay, hope that wasn't just too confusing for you guys. But it's honestly, just talking about it makes it seem really complicated, but it's very easy to do. It's just very easy. And then it makes your stamps that you have in your collection a lot more versatile because you can just mix it up and come up with a different combination. And it's so fun to do that. It really is. And then we're gonna do the little bunny ears. So I've got those here. I'm gonna kind of tell you how to make. I'll tell you what the dimensions are for them, and then I always just cut a pattern, and then I just have it, and I just trace it. So I cut one, especially if you need two that are equal. Cut a pattern like this, and then just trace around it, and then you have two that are the exact same. Okay, so we'll get to that. We'll get to that at the very end, and then we'll assemble this little this little card together. Okay, so let's see if I can just keep this on here. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And then we're going to need the palette because we're going to need some color. Okay, so let's start out by doing the pots, and then we'll kind of move up from there, and then we'll do the little duck at the very end. So the first thing that we're going to do, obviously, is we're going to dip our brush in water and get it wet and get all the bubbles out of it. Just tap it off like this, and then just pull that water out of the brush. Okay, that's always a good way to start. Really saturates your brush and just gets all of that gets all of that water in here. Okay, and now we're just going to pull the color out of the lines. And by the way, these were stamped in the 2 colors. So the pots, and where's my brown? Don't have it. But the 565 and the 969. So the 969 is the brown, the dark brown, and that is what the 2 colors that I use to ink these pots. And so we're just pulling that color out, and you can see just, under here, obviously this is an overhang, so that's a shadow. And we want this to come forward, so that means that the color is down below, and that just brings that lip forward. And then we've got contours here, and so this is the darkest color on the side. And that's just how we start. And then we can add color to it, or however, or add a shadow. So this one is pretty much white, and then it's got some color added to it. So we're going to start with some blue on here. And this is the 565. Actually, better zoom out a little bit so you can see that. And then we're going to need some pink. So let's get the pink on here. This is 703. And then this beautiful color of spring. I just absolutely love this 407. It's just the color that reminds me of spring. 407. Okay, and then we're gonna need some. We're gonna add some white paint, but we'll do that at the very end. So let's just get these containers done right now, and then we'll just kind of move on from there. Okay, so in these areas where it's going to stay white, we're going to see a shadow there. So we're going to just, put this shadow in, and then just kind of drag it over to the center. Okay, just like that. And then, there's going to be a little shadow under here as well. So we'll just put that in too right now. And then we can take some of this color, this really pretty blue, and we'll just start here at the bottom and put that in. Now with the contour, where it's rounded, we want to see that highlight. So we're going to add the color to where it's the darkest, the sides, pinch the brush off, and then drag it to the center. And then if you want to make it a little darker, do it again. It just has to be lighter in the middle than it is on the edges. And then we can just put in a little detail here. A stripe, you guys. And let's just make this a little bit darker on the edges. Okay, and that's pretty much all we have to do with that. So clean your brush off, and then let's go into the pink, and let's do our pretty little pink pot. And same thing here, we're going to apply that color to the side, where it's the darkest. Pinch your brush off, and then just drag it to the center. Drag it over, and you can see right away that it's rounded, and that's just because the center is lighter than the sides. And then just do it again. Pinch your brush off, drag it to the center. And then just be sure to leave that highlight. Make sure that the center is lighter than the sides. Same here with this overhang. You can see that I'm doing these, each one of these separate, so we don't ever want to cross these lines. It's the other rule. Never want to cross any of these lines. So we're going to do each section separately. Okay, so let's just go a little bit darker. This pink is just so pretty. Let's get that dark in here. And then we'll pick up a little bit of this blue and we'll just get that little shadow in there. Okay, so that's pretty good. We've got that pretty much done. So let's go on to the little eggs. And we're going to add some color to them. So let's just start out with this one. And again, this is a dome, so think about the light coming down. This is going to have just a little bit of a highlight right on the top. Just like that. Let's do another one of these in the back. And this one's pretty much hidden, so we don't have to worry too much about a highlight with this one. It's kind of tucked in the back. And we're going to need a little bit of yellow on here. So this is the 993. Hello, Christina. Good to have you on. She says hello from Vegas. Good to have you. All right, so this one is going to be yellow. And it's going to just have a little highlight right here. Just kind of right here on the side. And that's our only yellow one. So we'll move on to the pink. And I think we might need just a little bit more pink on here. And this one is kind of laying on its side. So, and you know what? I just colored that in solid. So we'll just make the stripes with the white paint. And I've got you can see I've got a little bit of a line that I got on here, but we can just easily just wash that out. Just take your wet brush and just erase that, kind of wash that line out. Okay, so now let's do this little egg right here. And you know what? Let's make that purple. 636 is that one. So we're just going to make this purple. And if you lose your highlight, you can always put that on with the white paint. You can always just add it back in. Okay, so we've got our little eggs in. Now let's go on to the tulips. And we're just going to start out just by pulling the color out of the lines. Kind of dragging it to the center. These are very small little lines, so we're just going to get a little bit of color to start. And we'll just start out with the pink ones. And then we're going to add color from our palette. And these are rounded, so these are contours, so we still want to see that little highlight in here. Just a little bit. In other words, just try not to color everything in solid. I guess that's just really the rule. Don't color anything in solid. And some of these little petals that are in the background, those can be just a little bit darker. And isn't that cute? So let's go to the yellow one. And this one's going to be pretty light too. Just pull that color out of the lines and then grab some of your yellow. add that little yellow one in there. This is such a beautiful yellow, and it always looks gold to me on the screen. So it really is such a beautiful color, but it's very misleading when you see it on here. Okay, so now we're going to go to the foliage. We're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to add some of this green to my, let me see if I can just move this over a little bit. Okay, so we'll just move this up and we'll get some green on here. This is the 177 green. And we're just going to add some of this now onto these leaves. Okay. And again, you can see that I left just some little white areas. It's just you're always going to be happier with it if you do that. If you just don't color everything in solid. Okay, so now let's just I'm going to take my bullet tip of the pink, and I'm just going to color in this, this really dark inside here, where you can see the inside of the little pot. And then just dark down, a little bit darker down in here. Okay, so now let's go to our little pot here and add our other flowers in. So we're gonna start out just by adding some of this vine. So this one right here. We're gonna add a little bit of this in here, and then we'll add our little bluebells to it. Okay, so we're just gonna use part of this. And if you want to, be careful, and, you can tape off your pot so that you don't get, anything on the outside of the pot. But, a lot of it is going to be covered up too. So by the time we put our little duck on here, you might not see some of that anyway. So I just added a little foliage in here, and now I'm just going to jump my brush around and just soften that. And drag a little of this color out. Okay, so now we're going to add our little bluebells in here. And I'm going to use my stamp positioner because I can't see through this one. This is rubber, and when you have rubber, it's hard to position these things. You can kind of guess, but if you want to be sure you're getting in the right place, then I would, definitely suggest a little positioner, and it just takes a minute to do it. It's really quick. So the first thing that we're going to do, if you've never used one of these, is it comes like this. Comes with a little T-bar and an acrylic plate, and so that little plate's going to fit into your bar like this. Left-handed or right-handed, doesn't matter. You can do it however. And so you're just going to place that in the corner, and you're going to ink your stamp just like you normally would. So we're going to use the blue, so the 565. And we're going to get our little blooms with the blue. And I inked all three of them. And then I'm going to come in here and do the stems. And then I'm going to stamp it. Let's see. How do I want it to go like this? I'm going to stamp it in here, just like that. So now I can see that little flower through my acrylic plate. So now I can take my my image, and I can just kind of place this where I want it to be. And I think that's a really good spot. I kind of like it just hanging over like that. I think that's so cute. And so that's where we're going to put it. So now I'm going to put this back, my little T-bar. I'm going to put that back and remove this, because now I have it positioned where I want it. And I'm going to re-ink this one. And then don't hit your little marker. So you don't move it out of position. Okay, now I can put my stamp right back in here. And I've got my little flowers exactly where I want them. Diana, yes, we're going to be giving this away. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to do another one. I'm going to put another one up here. And we'll just put this one, maybe we'll just put this one up here like that. And I think probably, I can just tap on it. Okay, there we go. So I've got our little hanging bluebells. And now we're just going to pull the color out of the lines. So, you know, the way that they're hanging, the majority of the color is going to be on the bottom because, again, of the highlight. So the highlight is coming straight down. And these, because they're kind of straight up and down, the highlight is going to be more at the top. And they're pretty small, so we're not going to be able to get too much in here. But when you go to apply a little bit more color, keep that in mind so that you know where the light areas are. So now we're going to take a little bit of this color and we're just going to add a little bit more to it. And remember that highlight at the top. And did I just get that wet? I did. I dripped it. And you know, maybe the little duck will cover it, hopefully. Sometimes I have done that. I've gotten a big drip, and tell me you guys have done this too. I've gotten a big drip and I don't even notice it until I'm completely done. And then I'm like, what in the world? How in the world did that happen? And I'll have a big old glob on here and I don't even see it. Like this one, didn't even see it happen. Okay, so again, see the highlight on the very top? It's just going to add a little bit more dimension and make these things so that they don't look flat. And obviously these are little round blooms, and that's how we want them to look. So, and in order to get that, you have to have some sort of highlight showing. Okay, so now we've got those in. Oops, we didn't do the stem here. So let's just go in and we'll just get the little stem. Okay, so now we're almost finished, you guys. We're going to add the white paint to it. Well, actually, we got to paint the little ducks, so we've still got that to do. But I'm going to add now a little bit of foliage kind of in the background. So we're going to add a little bit of grass. And we're just going to, you know, ink this, just walk it. Remember, grass always walks. And then just a little bit over here. And then I'm going to take that, that vine and just add a little bit more, a few more vines kind of growing up here. Maybe we just put a couple here. Just like, you know, so we've got little things kind of growing in the grass. And then we can drag this color, you know, kind of down. And up. You can drag it up also. And it just makes it look so natural to do that. Just again, try not to color everything in solid. Don't just see this and think, okay, I gotta make sure I get all of this green in. Just really try not to do that. And let's get some sky in now. So we're gonna take a little bit of this blue, and you can use whatever blue for sky. Whatever blue that you have is going to just be so cute. So we're just gonna brush in a little bit, just the idea of it. And maybe just a little bit back in here. A little bit in here. Can go pretty dark in here. And again, this might just all be covered up with our little duck. And this is cute just by itself too, you guys. There's a little butterfly in that set, in that Easter set. Let me just show you. It is so cute. And you could just take one of these little butterflies. These butterflies have dies that cut them out. So if you've got this and you're going to do the eggs and the little tulips, you could cut out these little butterflies and just put them on here. You wouldn't even need to add anything else. It would just be so cute just by itself. Okay, so we've got some sky in the background. We're going to add some white paint, but first let's get a little bit more color onto the eggs. So this one, we're going to really need to see that darker color on the bottom because that light is coming straight down. So just a little bit of color, a little bit more color on here. And these two, just a little bit more. And then the blue, this blue, same down in here. Just a little bit darker, just to show that that shadow is underneath. And then same with that purple. And then, of course, our yellow. We want that to be just a little bit brighter, a little more vibrant color. And we could just add, let's see, is that dry? We could add just a little bit of a shadow under here to just show that egg is just kind of hanging over. And you see how that just kind of works. Okay, all of these little things make a difference. Okay, so now, let's see, what else do we have to do? We're going to add the white paint. Let's do the duck. Let's just do this little guy. And let's move this aside. And we'll just color this little guy. And I inked him in the two colors. So the dark brown and the blue, 565 and the 969. So I'm going to be able to pull a little bit of color just out of the lines. And then I stamped it off, stamped this guy off. Just one time because he's clear. So when they're clear, you don't have to stamp them off too many times. When it's rubber, you need at least stamp it off at least 2 times. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a shadow going on there. Now he's going to be white, or he's going to stay white, so we're going to need a shadow. We're going to need some blue to show the shadow of this guy. So we're just going to kind of come along the side and just make just a simple little brush stroke. On here, just like this. And really, we just really kind of only need it on this side, but he will have just a little shadow under here where his chin is. I should just zoom in a little bit so you can see. Okay, in here like this. So now let's get some color onto his feet and his beak. And that is the 933, the orange. So we'll just color this in. And again, just try not to color everything in solid. And then his little beak. And I'm still using my number 4 brush, but you can use your tiny brush if that's going to be easier. And then I'm going to go over it one more time. So I want his little feet to be pretty dark. His little webbed feet. And then let's get this bottom part of his beak. We want to make sure that's really dark. Like so. And then, of course, we've got to do his eyes. So let's see, where is my twin tone? Okay, you guys, I'm going to have to go get my twin tone. Hang on, don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave, you guys. Okay, I'm back. I had to go chase one down. But my twin tone, we need that. We need that for the eyes. So this is a dark brown. And we're going to use that fine tip, and we're just going to color these eyes in. So be sure that you don't make them too big and you don't lose the highlight. So you can see where that highlight is. If you lose the highlight, if you lose it, just put it back in with your white paint. Just take a, even if you just take a pin and you just get a little bit of white paint on the pin. Okay. And if you want to darken anything on his beak, do it with a pencil. So not that dark brown. So in other words, if you want to just, darken this little line here where underneath his beak, just do that with your pencil. So it's just not too harsh. Okay, now we need some little cheeks. And I just, I find red actually works the best. You could use pink, but this is the 856. This just seems to work the best for little cheeks. So we're just going to add these little cheeks in. And that's really about all we have to do. Let me just make sure this is just dark under here, where his wing is. And his little belly. And I'm just going to add just a few little lines with my twin tone where his little tuft is up here. Okay, so this little guy is finished. He's ready to just put onto our canvas. So we're gonna get the white paint out. So let's do that. I'm gonna move this out of the way, this palette, and I'm gonna grab my white paint. This is Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white. And so we're gonna add some details now with this. Oh, you know what we have to do first, you guys? Before we do that, let's do the ears. Let's do the ears on the bunny. So I want to show you how to do that. And if you make these, if you just have a little pattern like this, you can put these ears on any little critter, just anyone, a cat, a dog that you have. It's so cute. A frog. I think that frog with these bunny ears would just be so cute. So let me tell you just kind of the size. This is kind of a good universal size, especially for these characters. This is about 1.5 inches. It's about 1.5 inches long. And what I do is I just draw a line. So here's my pencil. So I just draw a line that's about just about 1.5 inches. And then I just do the side. I just do the sides. So I'll just come around like this, and then I'll just come around like this. And then I'll see, well, that looks a little big. So now I'll just change that and make it a little bit smaller until I kind of get it the way that I want, and then cut it out. Just cut it out. Now I have a pattern. And now I'm going to have the same one on both. And this one, you can see it actually sort of bends a little bit to the center. If that's the case and you like that, just flip it over so that the other ear will bend the same way. But you don't have to. Now for the inside, you don't have to really do anything special other than put the pink center in. You can just do an oval of a pink center. But if you want to put in the actual lines, okay, so think about the opposite. So it's wide here at the top of the ear and narrow at the bottom. It's going to kind of be the opposite when you're constructing the ear. So narrow here and wide as you get to the bottom. So narrow in this part of the ear. So you're just kind of coming down. Have your eraser handy, you guys. So you're coming down like this, and then as it gets to the bottom, it gets wider. So that's just basically how the ear is shaped. But again, you can make it really simple and just do a pink, oval that's in it. And then to paint it, let's just move this out of the way. Let's bring the palette back. So to paint it, you're going to do the center, with pink, or that red also works really well. And we're just going to get a little bit of a blue edge to it. And this one, you know, one of these is going to be bent over, unless you just want them both straight. You could do that too. But we're just going to make a little line, and we're sort of creating a ridge to make these look a little three-dimensional. And then inside here, would really see that ear, how it comes together. So this would just be a little bit darker. And so we've created this little ridge, and they don't have to be perfect. But do you see what I mean about starting out narrow and getting wider to the bottom? Because these are, you know, wider at the top. Okay, so now let's do the center of the ears, and we'll just take a little bit of this and just brush it in. And again, you could just use pink also, or you can just do an oval for the inside of the ear. It doesn't have to be this technical. Okay, so those are the two ears, and then we're just going to cut them out. So let's just do that. So just cut it out, just, you know, right on the line or right next to the line. And then keep your little sample one. Your pattern. Pattern, that's the word. And then just cut it off like that. Same with this one. Just cut off the bottom. Okay, and this, by the way, is mixed media paper. So this is a little thinner than watercolor paper that we've been using, and it is, let me zoom out and I'll show you what it is. So it's this is Canson, same brand as our other watercolor paper, but it's mixed media. And this has, I think this has 60 sheets in it. So this will last you forever. But for little things like this, where, especially if you want to bend the ears, it's way thinner, but it's still watercolor paper. So it's still going to look the same, but you're going to be able to bend it a lot easier. Okay, I'm going to make this just a little bit darker. These little ears, a little bit darker. Okay, now one of them, so here's the left and the right. Now one of them, if you want one to bend over, so kind of fold over, so we can just kind of do that. Then you want to take your marker and just do that blue edge on the back side. So for this one, if you're going to bend it over, and you don't have to. So we're just going to add, you know, this little blue edge to the side of this one to make it look like it's a real ear. Actually, that's pretty light. Let's just do it a little bit darker. Okay, and then you just glue these onto the back. So just glue them on back here. So let's do that. Glue out. And let's fold this one on this side. So you're going to glue the front. And, you know, again, you can make these just as, you know, long as you want. But this is kind of a good base size, generic size. And then put the other little one back here. And then you can just kind of bend this one forward a little bit. And so you've got your little bunny ears. Make that a little shorter. And then you can erase your pencil lines, so you don't have that on here. And there we go. Those are a little bit bigger than those other ones. Made it a little bit longer. You can adjust it to however you want it. Okay, so now we're going to get to the white paint. Oops. Okay, so let's set him aside for now. And let's get to the white paint. So we're just going to take this off. And I'm going to dip my brush in water and then get it into my white paint. And just kind of thin this out a little bit. Because it gets, it gets thicker in here, but you just thin it out just by adding a little bit of water to it, and it just will get the consistency back. Even when it's really dry, have you ever opened your jar and it's just flakes of paint? I have too. And just put a little water in there, shake it up, and just leave it, and it will it'll come back. Okay, so now I'm just going to add some little white blooms in here. And, some of this is just going to be covered up, so. But we want to get some in here also. Get some little white blooms in here. That needs just a little bit more water still. Just so you can paint it on. If it's too thick, it's really hard to paint it on. Okay, so now we can do our little details on here. Get that little egg done. So cute. And let's do this one. And then we've got some little polka dots here. Let's do this one. Putting the patterns on just changes everything so much. It makes such a difference. And let's just put a little heart on here. And then we're going to add some little stripes to our pot. And just put a little, bend in it. So it's just not a straight line across. It doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, look at mine. Mine's not perfect. And then you can add some little highlights, to your florals if you want to. If you miss some highlights on here, you can just put a little highlight on the top of that one, and then maybe on here. Okay, how cute. So cute. All right, so now we're just going to put our little duck onto our project. So where is she? Here she is. And maybe we just bend this a little bit more like this. A little bit more sideways. Okay, and she can fit right here. So let's just use some foam dots and attach her. Whoops. How did I do that? Okay, saved. All right, so let's put that one there. And you don't need very many of these. Just 3 will do. And be sure to put in the comments if you want to win this. I will give this away. Okay, so You can see how cute that would be to add some butterflies to it, or that little watering can, or again, these little eggs, you guys. That would be so cute to do that. And I'm going to put her right here so she doesn't cover up too much of the flowers. And how cute is that? And I just want to add in just a little darker line here where these eggs are, just with my pencil. A pom-pom for the tail would be so cute. Yes. That would be so cute. Yes. Yes, and try these ears on some other little critters. Somebody try it on that frog because I just think that would be just the absolute cutest to do. Okay, I'm going to sign this so that we can put it in the drawing. So let me now just recap really quickly. The new release from yesterday, these margin stamps and dies that are part of our Bible journaling line. So let me just zoom out here. These are available now on our website. Here are the samples. Here is the sample from yesterday. These are the samples from yesterday, so you can check that out, the tutorials, and see how to create these things. But watercolor and a mirrored image so that they can go in a book on either margin. So check that out. These are available on our website right now, 6163, 6164, and 6155. 6155. Yep, check those out. So let me switch over so I can say hello and goodbye to all of you. And tell me if you're going to give this project a try because it was just really fun. And somebody try those ears with that frog, please, because I have that visual in my mind. I think that'd be so cute. So check that out. Roberta says that will make a great card for her grandkids. Great idea. Love that. Thank you all so much for being on with me today. Thanks so much for your encouraging words. It's just so much fun doing these projects with you. And I just appreciate you taking your time to be on with me and the rest of our people. So everybody have a great rest of your day. Be sure to put in the comments if you would like to win this little project from today. Have a great rest of your day and weekend ahead, and I'll see you back next week.